Thank you. All right. Hi, ladies. It's so nice to meet you. My name's Arden. I'm gonna share my screen. I guess I could have made this presentation, but it's fine. We're here and we're looking at it. So, today I'm gonna be talking to all of you about the most ick part of the industry for a lot of people, and that is cold outreach. But it's also generated me over $170,000 of cash in 2024, in addition to the income that I made. And I truly, honestly believe that it's the best way to get predictable and consistent leads. And I have
On your
never, ever,
headphones.
ever been in a
On
place.
your headphones.
Oh, Jeanette, can you mute yourself if that's okay?
Oh,
Oh no, I get it.
so
I work
sorry.
with a lot of moms. Um, so and I have never ever been in a place where when I didn't do cold outreach, I did as well as when I did do cold outreach. And the way that I look at cold outreach is just another strand of pulling people in and getting people to see my account and see who I am. It's only going to benefit me. It will never hurt me. The only way it'll hurt me is if somebody says, "Hey, I'm not interested," and that's it. And I've stopped taking that personally because what I've learned is that if someone doesn't want to connect with me, that's okay. And that was probably the hardest thing I had to go through as a business owner, but it's also led me to being able to go through that and being okay with someone saying that to me, to also generating hundreds and thousands of dollars more in revenue. And to me, it's worth the little, I'm not interested to be 170K extra, right? And this year I already know it's going to be way, way more. We're already at almost 200,000 like for the whole year from cold outreach. So, with that being said, I'm really excited to dive in and share with you how I do it because I was someone who was extremely resistant to it. And maybe I've gone from one side of the pendulum to the other, but I can tell you that it is something that has helped me pull in consistent leads. Two clients a month, two clients a week I sign. Every month I'm signing 8 to 10 clients. I've signed over 70 clients in the last 7 months, 8 months. And I took off the whole month of December. Like I didn't do anything in December because I was celebrating the holidays and I was traveling. And I've developed, honestly, an incredible program that feels really good. It's running at a great rate. And my clients are really, really happy. And so this works not just for me, it works really well for my clients. They're seeing insane results. I've had many clients go from like around the $2,000 to $3,000 cash month part to making $10,000 cash months, from 300 followers to 3,000 followers. Um, and I'm not really sure if you want to send in the chat what you do, what type of online business you do. I'd love to know. But I can definitely share with you most of the clients I work with, about 70% are fitness coaches. And it's a lot easier doing B2C, so business to consumer, so like a fitness coach to the, average consumer, than it is to do B2B with this, but it still obviously works like B2B. All right, cool. So you guys, a lot of you are B2C, career strategy. That could potentially be a little bit B2C as well. I've noticed it works so much better B2C. So you're gonna benefit so much from this. Just because B2B, people know what you're doing. All right, sweet. So my goal today is I'm just going to show you how I find potential clients through cold outreach in a way that feels genuine, authentic, and doable. One thing about me and one of my pillars is authenticity. I'm really big on just being transparent, authentic. I have been through the ups, downs, lefts, rights, backs and forths in my entrepreneurial journey, and I wish I had someone like me. And so that's kind of why I'm here. I don't want to just be a business coach. I want to be a mentor, and I also want to help you get results. So I don't want to just mentor you in business and strategy. I want to mentor you in relationships. I've been in a 9-year relationship. It's a very healthy relationship, but we've also been through all of the bumps in the road, you name it. And I also have, shifted careers. I've been broke, I've been rich, and now I'm living 2 blocks from the beach, the exact manifestation that I had back in 2022, which is so exciting here in San Diego. So, just a little bit about me as well. If you want, you can, if you have Instagram, you can join my group chat. I have a fun little group chat that I just share a ton of value. Again, probably a piece of the authentic piece. I really love giving free stuff away and supporting you and getting results in your company. So I can share with you this link in the chat if you guys want to join. If you're like, I literally don't know. Oh, you're in LA. Awesome. Nice. Yeah. Weather is so great. Love California. Um, so I'm 2 blocks from the beach in San Diego in Pacific Beach, if you know where that is. Yeah, yeah, North Pacific Beach. It's great. And so you guys can join my group chat or you can follow me. My Instagram is Arden Shiller, my first and last name, and then Biz, and I'll just add you to the group chat. If you're like, oh, I can't do it. Oh, the link's not working. Click. You have to use the Instagram app on your mobile device. All right. If you just follow me at Arden Shiller Biz and then just DM me group, yeah, that'll be perfect. Guess you can't do it from your computer. Sad. All right. So a lot of people hate cold outreach because of, I'd say 3 reasons. One, it's inauthentic, right? How many of you have had some like MLM woman come into your DMs, try to sell you like Arbonne, and you're like, I literally hate them. Like, no, rude. It's happened to you, right? So, you've been like, man, like so many people are messaging me, reaching out to me, trying to connect with me, and you can feel like it feels icky, right? You're like, come on, like I've had so many of these people, or you've tried it and you just haven't gotten results. So like, what's the point, right? Um, but I'm going to share with you how we can kind of bash all those things. And if we stop looking in the rearview mirror and start actually looking forward on the road, we can actually add cold outreach back into your system of how to generate predictable and consistent leads. And I think it'll feel really good for you. So this is a lot of words on a slide. Sorry if it overwhelms you, but I'm going to break it down. To start, the first thing that I always say with this process is you want to make sure that you are finding leads. And this is what we're really going to dive into today. We're going to kind of create or come up with a way that feels good for you, that feels authentic and genuine for you to still pull in predictable leads and find accounts that will potentially buy from you. Now, you don't have to go and find accounts that are like, you're like, I have no idea, I don't feel good about messaging this person, but I'm going to show you how I find accounts that actually feels like genuine and like relatable. All right. So we're going to dive into that. A lot of coaches, they are focused on going viral. They think their content, they're like exhausting the audience that they already have. And then they're like, I have no other leads to talk to. Right. So we're going to shift that and I'm going to help you get new eyes on your page and on your content. The nice part too about what I'm about to teach you with cold outreach is like the more you do, the more results you'll get. And that's what's really nice too. Like it sucks because it's like, man, I have to work more. But also it's nice because if you're like, oh my God, this next week I have no sales calls booked on the calendar, at least now you know what you can do, right? And so it's almost like a saving grace of like, if I don't know, a good example of this could potentially be like if you knew you didn't have any meals cooked for the week and you're someone who loves to meal prep, what are you going to do? You're going to go to the grocery store and get meals and prep them so that you're not going to overeat or undereat, right? And so it's the same thing with business. It's data. All right. Um, Authentic. We're going to make sure that when you find these accounts, you're going to be able to connect with them authentically in a way that feels good and genuine. And plus, like if you actually connect with people on a level that's like, I'm not just trying to sell you, I'm actually just trying to help you and like get to know you, they're going to be a much better client. The relationship will feel so much better in your container. they're gonna be a little, they're gonna feel like they can approach you a little bit better, right? How many of you guys have had, like, you could give a little head nod, like a client that you're like, yes, like I love this person. It's probably because you have a little bit closer of a relationship where if you've ever had a client who like just wanted to leave your program and like wouldn't talk to you about why, or like has caused so many issues, maybe the relationship wasn't that close, right? Could be both ways. Fall in love. All right, I'm gonna teach you as well. Like, there needs to be a way that when you find these people, you're not just trying to sell them. You want them to fall in love with you. You want them to see the value in why they should be working with you. And a lot of business coaches teach, like, make a Facebook group or like, do something, do some sort of like funnel, right? No, you don't need to do any of that. We're gonna come up with a way to create like an intimate group chat, just like I invited you to mine, and you can look at mine, you can join mine and like take from it. And that's a really great way for people to justify why they should work with you. Now you're giving them all the tips, showing them how an incredible coach you are, how you're gonna help them, and they're gonna notice the gap, their issue, while they're learning from you. And then they're gonna want to work with you. With that being said, it'll create some FOMO and urgency. So FOMO is fear of missing out. There's so many ways you can do this in your group chat to make people kind of like, it's a better way of scarcity. I'm not someone who's like, I only have 3 spots left. I'm not like that. I would rather be like, hey, look, all my clients are hitting 10K, 20K months. Like, don't you want the same? Like, that's really awesome FOMO, right? So you could do things like that, as well as that creates urgency and kind of activates your clients to join your program. Now, I actually call this process right here, I call it VLAB. So it's views, how you get views, V, value, giving some value. So that would be the authentic connection. L would be falling in love. And then the FOMO and urgency would be how to get them to apply and buy. So I call it my VLAB funnel. But today I really want to talk to you obviously about cold outreach. So finding leads. So the number one thing that I've noticed is most coaches, even those who are making $15,000 to $20,000 cash months, are completely missing how to find these leads in a predictable, consistent way. A lot of times I sign on clients in that 15K month mark, and they're kind of like going viral, or they just like have a decent following and they've been kind of talking to people in their following, and that's what's getting them signed up. But then what happens is they don't have this cycle of new views converting into paying followers, new views convert consistent. Instead, it's just kind of like this convert into paying followers, convert into paying followers. And next thing you know, there's no one else there to convert into the paying follower, and they get stuck and their income goes down. Send a 1 in the chat if that is something you've ever experienced or you know someone who has experienced. Love to know. Yeah. I'm seeing if we're still here and alive. You can send it too if that's never experienced or that's never, haven't gone that far. Feels like it's more, yeah. Yeah. Right. So we want consistent new views coming in while we also are like obviously converting them into paying clients. We just want it to be in a cycle. Feels like for me, new, but having trouble keeping them nurtured. Ooh, then the group chat will do really well for you, right? So that's part of my VLAB process for sure. Cool. And my clients who are in that position, Jeanette, a lot of times they'll be at like the 4K month mark. And then the second they build the group chat and they learn all the strategies to like activate people to apply, they'll get to 10K in like 2 months. This is literally, I think my next, Olivia. So Olivia, she was posting, she was showing up on stories, but she had a dead Facebook group. She was stuck in the DMs, like DMing people all the time. And she worked with 2 other business coaches before working with me. She was making 3K months consistently for like 2 years. And she was like, I don't know the issue. And it wasn't that she didn't have a following. Like she had like 3,000, 4,000 followers, but she was messaging them all the time. And she was like, I literally don't know what's wrong. She made her group chat and she started to like add in new outreach, like, and she created a really good new outreach flow to get them into the group chat. She put a lot of her old followers in the group chat. She immediately 2 months later hit a 10K cash month. It was like crazy. But this is like also not crazy because it's makes sense, right? And it's exactly what 90% of my clients end up doing if they're in that spot with Olivia. So yeah, so Jeanette, I can see that happening for you, which is really cool, really exciting. Okay, so I'm gonna dive into teaching you how I find those predictable leads, right? And I was gonna walk you through the steps and then share my phone and show you how I do that. Does that sound good? Like I'm first gonna tell you the steps and then I'm gonna share my phone screen. And I'll like walk you through. I'm gonna do it from my old fitness account so that you guys aren't seeing like the conversations I'm in for business coaching is like confidential. Cool. Okay. So, step one, we want to search for your ideal client in accounts like in your location or in your area. This is what I've noticed works really well. There's also a few other things that works really well. If your ideal client is hanging out, let's say your ideal client is a mom and you want to look for someone who's kind of wealthy. What is a wealthy mom or a stay-at-home mom who's married to someone wealthy? What are they following? And like my clients we made a whole list together. It was really fun. We got very creative with it. We were like, ooh, like expensive baby products, Cartier. Like we were coming up with all these things that these moms are following, all natural stuff, non-toxic stuff that's like expensive, right? And so you want to find these accounts that aren't specifically like if you're a realtor, right? You don't want to go to another realtor account. If you're a fitness coach, you don't want to go to another fitness coach's account. You actually want to find a totally different, out of the blue, like almost like not existent to your ideal audience, what they'd be, what you do, and totally out of the blue. This is what works really, really well for my clients, because what happens is, especially with fitness coaches, someone else who's following a fitness coach, I'm sure they're being bombarded with DMs from fitness coaches, right? So they're like, I don't want to deal with you. Like they're not going to answer, or they've already invested in one. So like, why are we trying to prospect people? That's like walking into a store that sells candles and trying to sell them candles. Why are we doing that, right? Instead, you want to walk into a store that has lotion and try to sell them candles, right? And say, hey, here's candles. It'll go really well as your husband's massaging your back with the lotion, right? Something along those lines. So instead of trying to look at the same account, people that are following the same accounts of what you do, we look for the accounts that would complement what you do. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, this is the part where it's tedious, but it works so well. We shoot them a follow. That's it. We don't need to message them. We don't need to comment on their posts. None of it. We just follow them. If you use Facebook, add them as a friend. If you use LinkedIn, connect with them. That's it. You do not need to comment. You do not need, like, none of that. Now, here's the thing. If you want to, and you see a post that they have and they have a public account, and you're like, wow, they have a mini labradoodle, so do I. You could absolutely comment on their post and be like, no way, I also have a mini labradoodle. It's not gonna hurt you, right? But it would be really cool. Or if they have an Instagram story and you follow them and then you watch their Instagram story and they have a mini labradoodle, you can totally relate in that way. But if you're like, I have no idea who this person is, I don't know if there's anything we connect on, they have a private account, but her profile picture, she looks cute, she looks like she could potentially be a mom who might be my ideal client, then follow her, right? So you'll shoot them a follow. Now, one thing that connect with a note or just connect, that is totally up to you. You can connect with a note if you feel that you can connect with them in some way, or you can just connect and see if they answer it or connect back. All right. It really depends on the person. Okay. Um, so yeah, so shoot them a follow. Now, what my clients do, and this is the part that's tedious and honestly the most important part, but not enough people do, is you want to track this. All right. If you do not have a lead tracker, I highly suggest to create one, make one, talk to me. I can send you mine. That's fine. But it's really important that you write down who you're following so that you're not following like, 3,000 people and only have like 100 left. or 100 that follow you back, but also because you can then go through and like unfollow so you don't have all the spam on your page of randos, right? Like we want to kind of try to be a little clean about it. So that's what I suggest is to shoot them a follow. All right. If you have good content, okay, and this is the part that is the hardest part. If you have good content that's going to connect with them and gives them value, they will usually follow back. I have a lot of clients, especially like I keep going to moms because I think there's a few moms here. Like I honestly have a lot of mom clients who will go and follow like on Instagram 30 people and get 20 follows back. Like that, like it's like that. It's that easy, right? Your content matters. You showing results in your content matters. You showing how you help people matters. You storytelling matters. So you do want to make sure you also like have good content. All right. And that's something that I'm really passionate about is content creation. So if you have questions, ask me in my group chat if you join. All right. And I can share with you my content strategy and stuff. All right. Now, if or when they follow you back, I love to send a little welcome message that's something along the lines of like, thanks so much for the follow. I hope you love my content. And then you kind of play the game of like, yeah, I'm actually in the middle of making a free guide on high protein snacks or a free resource on X, Y, and Z. And you offer them a free resource. Can I send that over to you? Boom. Spark the conversation through already giving value. Because now, guess what? You have just connected through what you do. You've already sparked the topic of, let's say, fitness, right? And now you can kind of talk about it. So a lot of times they are going to answer, right? They're going to say yes. Okay. So maybe if you are a career coach, which a lot of you, it seems like you are, um, I would come up with some sort of thing that someone like maybe like a guide on like resumes or something, right? Something along those lines. Hey, like I'm actually in the middle of making a guide on how to create the best resume to get your favorite job, something like that, right? You can absolutely like send them that free guide. All right. Then when you send them the free guide, as you send the guide, you want to ask a question with it to help find the gap. The question can be, are you working on your resume right now? How many jobs have you applied to in the last few months? What kind of job are you looking to apply to? Whatever, right? So that would be kind of like the goal is to truly kind of start connecting with them through that free guide using that as the opener. All right. Now, let's say they follow back, you send them, you message them and you say, "Hey, do you want a free guide?" and they see it and they don't answer. Don't freak out. They're following you. That's a really good thing. They're probably just not warmed up to you. Maybe your content isn't that great and so they're kind of like tweaking if they should answer you, right? They don't know you. They don't need to answer you, right? So maybe they don't answer you. Well, then what you want to do is you're going to track them that they followed you back. And in 1 week or through the next week, just spend time responding to their Instagram stories and trying to connect with them. Or maybe they make a post and you can comment on that post and connect with them. Only if it feels right, though. Again, like if they make a post about playing paintball and you're like, I don't like paintball, I don't ever play, don't post and comment and be like, I love paintball. Like, no, you're lying, right? Don't do it that way. But let's say they post a mini labradoodle while now you're following each other. Oh my gosh, I have a mini labradoodle too. Mine's 3. How old's yours? Right? It's those moments that you can connect. And here's the nice thing, you guys are following each other. So like now it's like you can see their Instagram stories. They're going to see your stuff. There will at some point of time be a time that you can connect with them in an authentic, genuine way. A lot of times what works really well for me is holidays. You could have spent all, Saturday or today. I hope you had a great Easter weekend. Just sending that message. Hey, do you celebrate Easter? I hope you enjoyed, right? Every single Christmas, and call me crazy, I have 900 followers on Instagram. I message every single one of my followers. Sometimes it has to go into the next day. And I say, Happy holidays. I'm so grateful that you're following me. That's it. But what does that do? That brings them back to my page. That also makes them say, wow, Arden, like I feel really connected with you because you were the only coach out of the 1,000 coaches that I follow that actually just sent me that message, right? That's so important. It's just that small little thing. All right. So that is the genuine, authentic way to connect with people. And again, like you want to do it out of a place of building a community, not because you're trying to make a sale. So again, I said ask questions, find the gap. Now, here's the part that I think is like the conversion piece. So Jeanette, this might help you a lot too. Is basing how they respond to the questions that you ask. What do you do? All right. So what works really well for me and my clients is if someone's giving kind of like short answers, like you're asking them questions, they're like, yes, not sure, maybe, right? How many of you guys have gotten someone like that in the DMs and you're like, yeah, like I just hate talking to you. Like you're like, this is horrible, right? Well, they're probably a little like fear. They're like, oh, this person's trying to sell me, right? You know what I mean? Like obviously you do have a service. Yeah, I don't know what to do after 2 yeah, if they're, like, being, like, short and it's, like, they're not expressing their struggles, they're, like, being, like, weird, this is where you can say, well, there's 2 things you can say. If they're being really weird, you could be like, "Well, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to message me and utilize me as a resource," right? Because guess what? You're following each other now. That's the goal, secure the follow, secure the follow, right? Now you're connected, so they're gonna see your stuff, and they might actually message you, right? You could say utilize me as a resource, or you can say, hey, honestly, like with everything that I've been asking you, you've been saying like yes, blah blah. I have a free group chat that gives a ton of value if you want to join. I can add you. And like 99% of the time, like they'll be like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then you just add them. Yeah. So I would definitely make a group chat. Yeah. So that's the first one for the short answers. Now you're also going to get some people, and let me know, who are like long expressive and they're like telling you their whole life story. And you're like, oh my God, like this person is so hot. Like, yes, let's go. What do you do? I do not like to bang on the first date, right? So I actually usually just invite them to a value call. Like I'm not trying to make a sale. I actually do like a quick little 15-minute value call. And I'll say, you know what? You're sharing all of this stuff with me. Let me give you like one little piece of advice. Does that work? Something to help you out. And like nobody has ever really said no unless they're working with another mentor to me. Because, like, who doesn't want good value? And also on my page, on my Instagram, when you talk to me, like, I'm always giving everything away. I'm not afraid to do that. Right. And so I literally today I had 2 value calls, and the one kid I just said, hey, this is one thing that I think you should add to your onboarding process. And he said, wow, thank you so much. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then at the end of the value call, I always just ask, so is there anything stopping you from working with a coach or having a coach to support you? And then you figure out. Sometimes they say no. I'd love to learn more. Boom. And now you've just connected, nurtured with them, and then I'll usually just book a second call that's like 60 minutes and we'll talk about my program. So this right here is like kind of how I do it, right? And that's how I teach my clients, and it does really well. All right. So I'm going to share with you kind of how I go through and do that in a very like hands-on way, because I feel like, yeah, I can say it all, but like we want to see it, right? Cool. Okay, I'm gonna pull up my old Instagram. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Okay, sweet. So I'm just gonna show you how I find leads. This is one of my old fitness clients. She had a baby, so cute. Oh my God, wait, that's actually adorable. Okay, sorry. Anyways, it's so funny. I can't wait to have kids, honestly. Okay, so what I usually do is I go over down here to the search bar. All right. And let's say, and a lot of you, it seems like are career coaches, correct? Okay, sweet. So with that being said, where do you feel like your ideal client is hanging out? What do you feel like they're following? If they're like, looking for a new job, They're hanging out on LinkedIn. Okay. But I mean, like, what accounts if on Instagram? We're just gonna play Instagram. I mean, you could do this on LinkedIn too, right? You can search, right? Yeah, yeah, I thought so. Resume, interview tips. Oh, following Simon. Mm-hmm. Personal. Okay. So I'm just gonna search up like interview preparation. Ooh. Let me see if there's like good accounts. Interview preparation tips. Okay, no. Hmm. Oh man, he has a lot of followers. All right. Now, this might kind of be an account where like anyone who's following him has either invested in him or potentially is like getting spam DM'd from career coaches. So you might want to be a little careful with this. Same with Simon Sinek. I think did I say that correct? Um, so I'm trying to think where else. Like, and honestly, we could probably find someone who's searching for careers and let me know if this sounds like an industry like tech. I feel like tech people in the tech world, like they bounce from job to job to job. They also usually have a decent amount of money. Yeah? No. Yeah. Yeah. So what would like yeah, following tech yeah, what's teal? Tech gives so much pushback. Hmm. Feel like not if you do it right, maybe. Resume writer, SVS. Yeah, but I don't want someone in the I don't want to go find an account that's oh crap. That's in the industry that you're in. We want to find what someone who is potentially like a resume writer. What is that?
I'll just share really quick. I don't know if Jessica, Jeanette, Rena, what you're thinking. Even like the type of messages that are like you can like what are your real dreams? I think about your message a lot, Jessica. What are the things that you're aspiring to? What's your life purpose? Those kind of things are really complimentary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like maybe like even mindset accounts. Oh, like Jay Shetty maybe? Like those types of accounts, right? So, okay, so I've never seen this account, but I mean, we can just play off of this one. We can play off of Jay Shetty. You just want to be careful. I wouldn't try to follow someone who does coaching, right? You can maybe look up like Ed Milet, right? So, yeah, Brene Brown. I love Brene Brown. Yes. So that's where your coaching people might be, like who need a career, who are switching careers, who are in the thick of it, right? Yeah, it would have to complement. Complement. Yeah. All right. You know who will be good? What's her name? Mel Robbins. I feel like Mel Robbins would be a good one. If you're not already, make sure you're writing all these down. Yeah. Grad school, continuing ed. Ooh, Annie, that's a good one. You can even do if you have anyone in your, like any colleges in your area. Does anyone have a college in their area that does like grad school? Yeah, like I went to Bloomsburg University. Career centers. Yeah, there we go. UCLA, US. Yes, yes. Okay, so I'm just gonna here, I have Bloomsburg up. So here's how I would do it. Now, 22,000 followers is a lot of people. You can absolutely go through and like, click and look and whatever. You can also, and this is the part that I really think is the best, is looking at the most recent pictures. I would honestly, and for some reason it won't show, it's not showing me the likes. Here we go. I would actually look at the recent pictures likes because these are the active accounts, right? And so that's what makes it kind of easier to go through and find potential people. So let's say this girl looks like she graduated in 2025 or graduates and she's in Widener, right? This would be a perfect like prospect that you could potentially like watch her story, shoot her a follow, and then like maybe comment on one of her posts if you wanted. Oh my gosh, I have a lab too or something, right? Like again, like everything that I just said, everything I just said playing out right here, right? Um, Career centers, if there's a career center in your area, right? So that's how I would find leads is I would really start to think about, all right, where's SJSU? San Jose State University. Cool. So, I mean, even here, right? This is a career center. 6,000 leads right here for you to go follow, right? Questions about that? No? Does that make sense on how you find people?
I have a quick question, as far as your follow-up. So if you have all those folks, you go and follow a bunch of people, how often are you then cleaning your list? Because you did talk about making sure you don't end up with, following 3,000 people and you have 100 people. So can you talk about that process a little bit?
Absolutely. So I'm going to pull something up real quick. This is what I do with my clients. So whenever my clients join my program and we're like getting into the DMs, we build out like our weekly DM expectations based off of what they can do. All right. So, like, I have a lot of moms, I have a lot of 9 to 5ers, I have a lot of busy people. So, I always say, like, this is just an example, make it your own. Like, if you can only do your cold outreach on Mondays, that is so fine. Just do it on Mondays, do 100 people, 100 follows, whatever. But this is like the basic that I genuinely think works really well is doing Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of like following people. And then on Thursday, that's when you would do the follow-ups, right? And converse with your followers. And then on Friday, you would like unfollow people, etc. All right. Or here it is on Thursday, either or. So we break it down very clearly on like the exact tasks that you would do every single day. And like I tell all my clients like 30 minutes for cold outreach every day or Monday through Wednesday, and then 30 minutes for follow-ups, 30 minutes for follow-ups. So that's something that we do. Does that answer that question as well? Yeah. Good. Yes, that's something I do teach. I teach how to hire a VA. Once my clients are hitting like 7K months, I'm like, yeah, let's just get a VA in it. What's really nice and like, so my program's called Scale with Ease for a reason. When I grew my fitness company, a little bit about me. I was a fitness coach prior, and I scaled very quickly as a fitness coach. I signed 112 clients in 4 months. Don't ask me how I did it. I was also a teacher. Full-time teacher, kindergarten teacher, if you can't tell. Um, and I signed 112 clients. And I I felt like I was just constantly putting out fires. Like I was a shit show. And so now it's like the rate that I'm at feels really good. And what I teach all my clients is everything that you're doing now as you're growing your company, we're putting in the systems. So when it's time to delegate and hire, you just hand it off to them. Right. So, what I just showed you, those DM expectations, literally can take that and give that to a virtual assistant. Right. And same with like the SOPs, like I actually teach my clients to, as they're building their program, they're building the SOPs. So now when they hire someone, it's not like they're like scattering to make SOPs, to make these things, like they can just hand it off. And so that's like the big, like, theme of my program because like I was scattering with 112 clients trying to hire someone while also working a full-time job, and then I like ended up getting fired from my full-time job, which was a blessing in disguise, of course. I got my puppy. And so that's kind of why I'm like really big on like, yeah, let's be preventative and proactive instead of trying to, put out fires. Yeah, cool.
So I have a question.
Hmm.
So this is super interesting because I'm very new to Instagram. I don't know how to use it. I'll be honest. It's complicated for somebody like me. It's not intuitive at all.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know there were group chats. I mean, I didn't even think about that.
Not
But
many people do.
yeah, so what are you when you are inviting people into the group chat, is your goal then to have them in the group chat, but then get them on your list? Or like tell me a little bit about like what's happening in that group chat
Yeah.
versus kind of the next step after that.
Yeah, this is like the what I would consider the conversion piece, like the piece that like once someone's in there, they're either going to be activated to buy or they'll buy down the line, or maybe they'll just take all your free stuff and that's also so fine, right? Like because you want them in there, maybe they'll invite a friend, whatever. There are like a ton of different strategies that I teach that like once someone's in the group chat, you can upsell them into your coaching. So one of those strategies, I'm gonna try to list some off the top of my head, so bear with me. One of those strategies is having the clients that you already have sharing their wins. That's something that I like asking your clients, like, hey, like share that you just hit a 10K month, share that you just lost weight, share that you just got a job, share that you just whatever, right? Because that's going to create FOMO. That's going to make people say, wow, they're working with Jess. Like I need this, right? So that's one of the ways. Now, if you don't have clients, that's okay. There's so many other ways. Another way is once they join, usually you could do like a monthly or even bi-weekly like master class or call. And on that master class or call at the end, you can pitch value calls. You can pitch your program and application, little things like that. We do a monthly live call, and every time someone joins, the first thing I say is because you want to get everyone right in the beginning. The first thing I say is like, if you are interested in working together, make sure to apply. Here's the link. Or I say, if you have a friend that you think would benefit from my group chat, please add them, right? So it's like being strategic in those ways. Oh my God, there's so many ways. I'm like, you could, if someone expresses something like a struggle, you can one-off message them and be like, hey, I saw you shared this in the group chat. Like, I'd love to do a value call. I would say the value call is like the number one way that works really well. If you don't want to do calls, I have a lot of busy moms, then sending an application works too.
Got it. Got it. So it's almost like it's a holding tank or a wait list for you.
Yeah,
Like higher than a follower, high, but not quite in the list and not quite receiving daily offers or something like that.
right.
Got
I
it. Okay.
if you have you ever heard of the 7-11-4 method?
Hmm.
Okay, so let me just like confirm that I have it right. Hold on. Okay, so
Any of you heard of that method?
no. Oh, I love the Seminole. This is kind of where I guess maybe it came from, but it's pretty much where you have different touch points to build trust and convert potential like strangers into buyers, right? So the seven is like they have to see 7 hours of your content, whether that means content, written stuff, your Instagram stories, 11 different touch points. So 11 conversations and then 4 different locations. Now, I personally believe the 11-7 is all that it takes. So usually if they're in a group chat with you, they're getting 11 touch points, period. They're also getting 7 hours worth of like value and content, right? And that's going to kind of activate them to want to work with you. It really plants the seed of like, who's the coach that I want to hire?
Jessica and I we both were in a similar program, and I think they mentioned 150 or something touch points. It was an email statistic before they buy. And it's just, yeah, it's so many touch points that we need to have. I used to work in college admissions and it's the same thing. Email after recruitment visit, after campus tour. It's just, yeah, it takes us a while to build that trust.
Yeah, it does. And unfortunately, it's worse these days than it ever has been online because there's a lot of, unfortunately, unqualified people, coaches that have created bad experiences for people. And the online industry doesn't have like the best name. Like, I mean, I believe it's incredible and I've helped a ton of people, but it's still hard for people to see like, oh yeah, like, I joined this one program and it was $10,000 for 6 months and I haven't gotten anything out of it. You know what I mean? And not that that's my program, but like and it's so hard for me to even sign clients because of that, right? So it's just building that trust and showing that your clients are getting results and that, what do people truly want? Showing that is going to support them and support you. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to add to that, Annie, I think the reason why that number for that particular group is so long is because the messages aren't as high value as quickly. So I'm very much a proponent of like, if I'm going to write an email, it's a case study, it's a testimonial, it's a strategy, it's going to make you stop and think. Like it's going to add value, not just be like, here's what happened to my crazy neighbor yesterday headline, because to me, like those are turn off emails. I usually delete those when I get those, but it just depends on your audience. And I think, I'm writing for overthinkers who need coaching and are at the crossroads. And for them, it's like they need results and they need answers and they want to see results. And so I'm trying to demonstrate that my brand in the emails. And I could do that easily in a group chat too.
You can.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of life coaches and mindset coaches, and I think the number one struggle that a lot of them have is that they don't have enough like testimonials and case studies. But if you have that, use that. I always tell them, I'm like, take 5 people on and figure out the exact thing that you can help them with and then help them with it. Yeah. I love it. Any other questions?
So I would love to know a little more if you are comfortable sharing just with like the technical piece of the group chat. I also don't currently do group chats. Is this something you do inside of Instagram?
Yeah, so let me share with you guys. I'll share my screen and just share my group chat. It's so silly. It's so simple. Um, but it's so weird. Okay, so I feel like we all kind of overthink it. You know what I mean? Okay. Let me. Okay, sweet. So this is my group chat. All right. So pretty much how I do it, I'm just gonna scroll to the top. Or not really to the top, but just like I love to send like a Monday message, and then I try to really spark conversation. All right. So here I kind of ask the question, for those of you who started coaching, what's one thing you noticed that's working for you? For those who have been in business, what's one thing you've noticed that has changed or you don't do anymore? Like that's always a fun question to answer. Some people answered, and then I shared mine. Um, then I had a client share that she signed 5 clients in her first month of Scale with Ease. Right? Boom. There's a strategy. Here I sent a little video of like a quick task you can do today to book some calls. And that got like 10 likes, I'll sometimes send like little reminders, friendly reminder that if nothing changes, nothing changes, right? Um, this girl joined Scale with Ease, so she sent it in the group chat. There's this one kid, Timothy, that I think I need to remove because he spams the chat a lot. Then I even followed up on this and I said, has anyone done this yet? And a lot of people responded. I asked them what topic sounds best for our free community call on April 30th. And then I chose the topic is on how to go viral. And I also made a little video of my top favorite storytelling hooks. Heart this message and I'll share it. So I shared it. Boom. So I try, and the way that I do it, I teach my clients is through building like a little schedule of like once a week. Oh, thank you. April 12th. Of once a week, like sending a piece of value, and then once a week asking a question to create some engagement. Now, I do a little bit more than that. No, maybe I kind of do the same thing. Yeah, last week I sent this thing, so I kind of do once a week. I really do. So it's not a lot. I also, when I first started my group chat, I asked people how often they'd like to see me in it. Like I said, like, do you want messages every day? Do you want messages once a week? And a lot of people were saying 2 times a week because it could be a lot. you know? Um, and then here up in the top right-hand corner, there's that little writing thing. That's where you can then create a group chat. And you do have to name it and then choose like 2 people. So you can't do one, it'll just create like a DM. But if you choose 2 people, so if you guys want to add me to get it started and maybe Annie, whatever, right? You can do that. Sorry, Annie, I did just volunteer. Whether it's group chat or something else, greater interest in text-based marketing. Yes. Yeah. So it's like there's something about like people feeling like connected and it's intimate and it's, I send little videos like this that like people get to know me and they get to, talk to me. Um, those things are really like really, really genuine. And it's authentic. And it's like those people that who are new followers or cold outreach, right? They fall in love with you through this process because they're like, wow, she's helping me or he's helping me, etc. So even here a whole thing of like content, right? So, yeah.
Okay, now I have to ask because there's a million ways to create these group chats. Like Jessica's mentioning text, we have DMs, we have group chat here, you have Facebook groups. I know you also have your school community. Why do you pick this kind of community / have you tried any of the other types of groups? Like how does your school community function versus this?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. I regret my school community. I think it's a lot harder to get somebody from one app to another. So keeping it on Instagram has changed my business trajectory, has changed a ton of my clients. I genuinely believe keeping it in the place that you're getting most of your leads is going to be the best. My school group it did really well at first. But like trying to get people back to the app was so hard and so annoying. Whereas like in the Instagram group chat, I send one message and everyone gets notified. Yeah. If you do a Facebook group, there's a way you can add a chat onto the Facebook group, and that does really well.
Yeah, I've seen that feature and I was kind of curious if you had thought about doing that as well, or if you tend to just stick with Instagram.
Right now, Instagram just does so well for me. It's really like once I'm like traveling a ton this year, so maybe once I want to do a little bit more of a push, I'll add in Facebook or LinkedIn. I used both of those with my fitness company. So my LinkedIn is probably still fitness based or maybe a little business based, but yeah.
I just have a question about like one-on-one coaching versus like one-to-many, and did you make a shift from doing one-to-one then now do one-to-many
Um,
with your offerings or programs?
as a business coach or as a fitness or both?
Either one, like we only have so many hours in a day and so much money we can make one by one. And, did you ever think about that? And it sounds like maybe you have a one to many like offering. So just wanted to see what that was.
Yeah. So what I teach all my clients is like if you've worked with at least 10 people, whether they're free or paid, you should be able to write out a transformation phase, right? Like from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 to step 4, getting the result. So like when I think of business, right? There's usually 2 issues in business. The first one is one, you're not getting enough leads. And the second one is you're not able to convert the leads that you might be getting, right? Those are the 2 issues. So I have a strategic transformation that takes someone who's not getting enough leads to getting enough leads and converting them, and then someone who's getting leads to how to convert those leads, right? So I have that. Once you have that transformation, after working with some people one-on-one, it's really easy to make that into a group offer, right?
Mm.
And so that's where the scalable piece of business is structured really well, especially for moms, especially for people who are working 9 to 5s. And that's actually what I did with my fitness company as well. So it's about first understanding how you do the transformation, like the point A to point Z, like what is BCD, right? What does that look like? And then how can you put that not just into a basic course, but into a course or videos or resources that's going to really support people. And one thing that I do that is very like individualized is every client that comes in, I don't ever make them watch my whole course because you guys don't have time for that. Like that's what I always say. I tell you the exact videos to watch and the steps that you need to take, right? Bye, Jessica. So I suggest doing the one to many, but also trying to find ways to really support people so they feel like it's more one to one or feel
Yeah.
like, oh, you're helping me. And that's something I'm really
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. And you can teach them without you being there, like in a way, right? Or just record and then multiple people can get the same message, or it could be like a course. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the one to many way.
Yeah.
I have 5 one-on-one clients, but I usually max out at 5.
Yeah. Because it's just so time consuming. And then you limit yourself because you only have so much time in a day to take on one clients. So you need 10 to 1 or 20 to 1, and then you make more money.
It's either raising your price by a lot or it's
Yeah.
helping more people. And I don't know, I've been in
Yeah.
positions and to me it feels the best to like help more people. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Thank you.
That was a good question.
So helpful.
Thank you so much, Arden. I know we have 1 minute left, so I'll wrap us up here, but everyone has your contact info. Please go follow her on Instagram. You're just such an inspiration. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna send out the recording to the folks that couldn't make it, but yeah, to everyone else, thanks for coming and thank you for your time. We really, really appreciate everything you shared. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. Have a good Monday and a great rest of your week, everyone.
Thank you. All right, take care. See everyone again soon. Bye.
Bye.